What's up, guys? Hades here. I have a fun one for you today. I'm going to walk you guys through my thought process and my micro in an IB match. Instead of what I usually do being the macro, we had a really intense game against GSI recently. They have some huge whales, and despite all that, I still scored the highest on my team through skill and strategy. I consistently overperform from my power, and I show it here in this match, right? We have multiple chaos users. Rev was one of the biggest in the game, and I still outperform them. I'm going to show you how. So let's hop into the match and go over the highlights. Now, there's two major things when it comes to a large-scale battle. There's the micro and there's the macro. Now, I'm going to go over the micro today. It's the small little decisions I make instead of the big macro decisions that I make. So I need to find myself, and then we'll continue from there. I spawn pretty much middle right, so I'm not in any great position to go anywhere, and I just decide, let's just slam it down bottom. There's no reason not to. I'm more on the bottom side than anything, and so that's where I decide to go. We're getting a little bit of delay. There is going to be a lot of people here. As soon as it loads in, the enemy went with a lot in the middle. This is one of their biggest players going to land there, and the big plan was just don't let him play the game. We tried to get a cancel on him, but it was too slow. We're just too far away. We couldn't make it. So here I am, and my decision making is going to be the factor of this video. I see a relocation and I go for it. I see another one, I go for one, and I tell him to go for two, and we get it. Now, this is a huge player, and I don't win. So my job is not to kill this player. It's Revel's job, right? And he makes an error and takes some damage, but he's also trading damage. And as long as he kills this player, we should win the position. Now, we dominated them here early. We're all here. We have multiple strong members in the front. And you can see my line. I'm going for this guy, and I get a free hit. And I'm going to just be looking for free hits. And I look for one here. I didn't do a lot of instant recalls just because I'm trying not to do speeds and gems when possible if I don't have to. Now, I easily could have, but I didn't. Now you see my march, I sent it into the tower because we had pulled for a tower call, and I'm playing it nice and slow. I only really have one strong march. My other two are quite weak in many shapes and forms, and I'm just gonna play it slow. And now you can see I have a line already. Where am I going? I'm going here. I already clicked on all these players. They're all weaker than myself, and so I put a non-aggressive march relocation here. There's no way they can cancel me with a kill. They'd have to step on it, and they don't. And now I have a teammate who can protect me, and I'm going to rotate. I already identified that this position's over. I know Revo's going to win it. He already beat this player, and all of the smaller middle tiers are gone. This player is also strong, but they will not be able to fight him. He's just way too powerful. He's equal or greater than Zaza, who's here, causing havoc in our middle, right? But the macro of the whole match doesn't matter. It's all about my decisions. Now, the reason I left is I want to be as impactful as possible, as soon as possible. As you can see, I left before this was over. What a lot of people do is they destroy everyone, then they leave, which is wrong. This is how you should be playing. This is how I score high. I have 100% uptime. As soon as everyone here is dead, no one here is going to be in a position to deal damage, right? Of course, you don't want everyone to leave, and some people's job is not to do this, but your attackers, your main carries have to do this. Now, we decided they were so weak, we would just go all in on the tower, and yes, my main deflected like 15 hits. It was very funny. They just couldn't beat my main, and I'm so far away, it had to work. But it did, and now we own this. And now my whole thought process is get as close to the tower as possible because if I can get closer, then I can defend this better, right? And the closer I get, the better. And I say, Toby, defend me, and then my other players already defend me. And now this is just a one position. We have one of our whales here. I'm very strong, but not a whale. And there's just not a whole lot they can do. They ditched the top, so we were able to rotate from top, and that is where my other supports are coming from. That's where these two players are coming from. And I believe this one as well. Now, I'm just going to sit next to tower, and I'm going to deflect them as long as humanly possible. We already own our home, the top, and the bottom. We knew we were going to submit the middle with Zaza being there. I mean, we only have one mega, and they have multiple. So the goal is to rotate away from them, and that's exactly what I decided to do here. Am I going to stay here forever? No. Do I have reborn? Yes, right? I went with defense today. I actually didn't even use a single healing here. That's how OP the defense is, and that's how OP just having a decent march is in this game mode. Now, I'm not going to be super aggressive because I don't need to be. I just need to be next to tower, clean the tower, kill the people low near me, right? I'm already hitting these players in the front. I don't want them next to tower. So my priority is the people near me next to tower, which is this guy or this guy, right? And then they get cleared, and it takes them forever to walk from way back here to get back in their tower. And it doesn't matter if they get this over time, right? They have a lot of these strong players here with many millions of power and a march much stronger than my own. As you can see, they rallied me and they killed me. But I'm defense, and what am I doing? I'm rotating again, right? They pulled up with some fairly strong players. People were like, hey, we're going to need help. So I said, okay, I'm coming. I put next to tower. It's slightly risky, but it's not that risky. It's next to all my teammates, and I like this position. It might have been slightly better one over, but I did it in a rush because I was also trying to defend this tower. Now you can see them all bouncing off. They hit a point when none of their strong players were actually hitting the tower. They were focused on rallying. And I am bouncing all these little marches. You can see I put mine in again. And they're just bouncing off, and it's just mine. And the timer never starts because they're bouncing, right? And I was sitting in a bubble for a majority of that time. And what's funny is my march is still bouncing them, even though I just landed. And then soon my march will get popped, and I'm going to start fighting here. Now, they take this or not, doesn't matter. We own 3, so my decision is keep 3, right? I don't want to give this away for free. Now, we have some decent players here. Me and Persephone have very similar marches, and then we have a thunder and a fire. So we have a nice variety here. No whales, but just a bunch of strong players. 2 thunders, excuse me. This one is a holy player. This is one is a wind player, which I don't get to fight a lot of. And then the other 2 are moderately strong. And you can see me doing lots of solo hits. What I always do is I test the water first. I go, boom, can I beat them with the solo hit? If yes, go again. If no, look at the report, then decide if I need to rally or not. And you can see I recalled here. I really wanted to win this position, and I got a free hit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go again. And once we finish this position, the game's going to be over. And I'm going to show you some reports. I don't usually show reports from IB, but I think this one's an important one because these players are very strong, and I'm going to show you why it's important to test the waters first and decide to rally or not. So 2 reasons I decided not to rally. 1, I know my players, right? I know the power of these 3 players, and I know the power of the supporting cast behind. And I know we have enough people to absorb damage, and I'm never going to take pressure. So I'm free to fire with my main on these 2 players over and over. Now, I could not break Puma alone. I could break Blue Fire alone, and they were doing a very good job defending each other. So what I would do is I would mix up my hits. He would very much defend this player, and then I'd hit him and get a free hit. And then he would end up defending himself, and then I get a free hit on the other one. Now, the game is basically over. We have reclaimed the middle. We still have their home, and it's just over. We have 105 points per second. and the game ends pretty soon after. They don't collect any more points the rest of the game. So let's go look at some of the reports because I think they're very valuable. So here's the Puma guy. He has a 5-star Athena, and he also has a maxed out Loki. Now, I had enough to slow him down. I have cleave. My cleave is hitting Theodora, which means Himiko is putting Loki in the realm most of the time, which means I just have to fight his Menko. And it ends up being a very balanced match. A lot of it's because the Athena's not quite maxed and missing a skill. But still, the power is not in his favor, but he has a solid march. This is a very good march. The only downside for him is really the only 3 of a type, or I believe it's 4 chaos, or sorry, 4 holy. Never mind. He has 4 still, and I have 4. So I'm not sure why his power is so low. It might be gems. Yeah, it's probably gems a little bit, but anyways. Then there was this player, double chaos, could not fight him, just to show you some of their whale power. Then there's blue fire I was hitting, getting defended by Puma, and I do want to watch that first one, but just to show you that I was catching him off guard. Blue fire had a fire and a wind, and it was very tough to break it sometimes. But you could see this is the value of a solo hit, right? I had seen this as one of the first hits, and I was like, oh yeah, I can solo. If this is what I'm getting from a solo and my teammates already win rallies, I'm going to definitely solo, because if I solo and kill one, they're going to finish with a rally. Got crushed by one of their whales. Had a really good report at one of the towers, but I really want to dive into this one. I think this one's really important. My Athena's sitting at 3-star. I've tested it out. Doesn't work. I think 5-star works, and I'm going to make a video about it in the future once I get mine, but she doesn't need a whole lot more than 5-star to be valuable. The extra skill is very valuable, but the extra bonuses she gets doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, she already does what she needs to at 5, and you can kind of see here he started a bit low and still defends, just showing how strong this composition is. And you can see here at the top he does have 4 holy, so there isn't even a big deal. He can just use a maxed out Earth Dragon, which is much more valuable. Now his Menko is slow, finally unleashes, and this is where he's gonna run into it. And you can see the Loki was in the realm, like I said, because I've been cleaving the the Theodora, which means I could put Loki in the realm. This is why Himiko counters Loki, and then Alex keeps up with Menko. I wouldn't say he's as good as Menko, but he keeps up with him in many aspects. And then just composition-wise, I beat him a bit. But yeah, very strong march for the low power. It's probably some of just the little things like the gems and stuff. But yeah, anyways, that's my insight on how to dominate an IB match, how to rotate properly, and it doesn't take a whale march to perform well, right? This is nothing out of the ordinary. All these immortals are basically free or very cheap. The dragon's cheap. The new Triss stuff is only $120 or something to get it efficiently. Like, I only run about 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I run 7 Triss skills. Pretty much the amount of Triss skills I run now is the price of the old one. They're so cheap now. I highly recommend picking them up if you can. But yeah, if you guys like these kind of more micro videos on how I think and what I do and how to improve your game, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.